Welcome to Magic Gathering Strat. I'm Dan, and I just 6-0'd this Swiss draft. It was Magic 2013, and I played blue-white flyers with 17 creatures, and it was a blast. I don't think I was even close to losing one duel. So now I'm gonna do the dance I do after a draft, and it's special when I win. So then I have to show you how I fill in this document. It's the 11th. It's M13 number 8. I did get the QP, which doesn't matter at all because I am not grinding enough to be able to use them. I first pick Murder, foil, did not play. And I went 3-0. I played against Plug, who was white-green. He lost 2-0. I played against Scorcher, who became really mad because his deck was great. He lost 2-0. And then I played against this broken blue-white Flyers deck that was just not enough broken. And he didn't have Sands of Delirium, and I did, so he lost 2-0. That meant 3 boosters to me, and some rating. Did I get closer to 1700 for this new account that I started only for the YouTube channel? I should have. 1680. Getting there, getting there. My highlights were to Chronomaton. That guy is so good. I hope he will be in Magic 2014. To Sarah Angels. I did have a lot of stuff I could have run into. Such as spiders. But I did have 2 sleeps. Your pool isn't looking so deep. My pool has 2 copies of Sleep. As Spruik wrapped. I had the Tolerance Invocation. Must be nice, as Scorcho said. I had Sands of Delirium. I think I should have had more removal, but this was fairly close to the nut. White blue flyers deck, Fog Bank, 11 flyers total. This draft cost me 11 tickets. Or is it 11.6? It's 11.6. I did win 3-0. That'll put my win percentage at 67.82%. I have a random sell value here of 0.6 for the boosters, and then we have Omniscience, which we are now gonna sell. So we shall see how much we get for that. Maybe I'll show you that process too. This is definitely green. Like that. The balance is now down to, I have lost $124 playing drafts. It's a really bad hobby to have compared to many other things you can do in Magic Online in which you actually earn money, such as trading and Pauper, that I also like. But here I am drafting. So let's see how many drafts these are in this document. It's since June. It's 165.14, and there's a row of complaints. So that's 151 drafts. And I'm losing 82 cents per draft. I was so close to being an infinite at some point here, and then this big red block happened, and that's where all the $124 are coming from. But that's the case. Now, let's look at the cards and compare them to my document here. I have rated most of these things, I think. Chronomaton. Chronomaton is, at the worst, he is a Centaur Courser. Because he costs 3 mana for a 3/3, but he's colorless. So he's better than a Centaur Courser, and he can become bigger, and he can win the game by himself. And I pick Chronomaton as a second to fourth pick, and I'm not afraid to first pick him. People underrate this guy so much. He is awesome, and he's the perfect mana sink. I love to do stuff with my mana, and I think that the one who spends the most mana has a bigger chance of winning. any Magic game, not only Limited. Chronomaton helps you out there, and he gets huge. And then we have War Falcon. These are the print runs if you're interested. War Falcon. 5th to 7th pick I have him rated at. Let's see what people have said about him. I said he's sweet walrus against red, scared of covering for crippling blight. Yeah, of course he is. LSV wasn't impressed. Given enough soldiers and knights, this might be decent. War Falcon is a high variance and a synergy card. There's a lot of knights and soldiers in the set. And I'm fairly confident giving him a 5 to 7 pick. He trades with 2 drops and some 3 drops on the defense, and that's not insignificant. So I think War Falcon is pretty good. I played up to 4 in the deck. It sucked when I didn't have a soldier. Avon Squire is a much more powerful card. I placed him as a 3rd to 5th pick. I don't know about that, really. It's good, but there's so many things that kill Avon Squire. But he is on his own a 2/2 attacker for 2 mana. So I guess he's alright. Though I would prefer Velkinturn over him. But I think Avon Squire is a more reliable card than Fogbank. I don't like walls. I don't like cards that can't attack. But if you are going to have a card that can't attack, it's probably Fogbank. So I'm rating it lower than both Avon Squire and Velkinturn. It's still a pretty high pick. And in this particular deck, it did a ton of work. And this is the kind of deck that it's really hide behind fog banks and use Sense of Delirium. Sounds like a plan to me. Velkinturn, 3rd to 5th pick. He is the better pick than Windrake, but it's very close. I'd rate them Velkinturn, Windrake, Avon Squire. And then we have Sands of Delirium. People don't like this card. People think it's a stupid mill card. And I heard limited resources say bad things about it in the set review. LSV seems to be on the train here. This kills them fairly quickly in a mostly unstoppable way, and that's what it does. This card just wins the game. And I would go as far to say it's a first pick. And it's actually, I would go as far as to say that this is one of the 5 best cards in the set. That is how good Sands of Delirium is, especially in a deck like this that can defend itself. You saw me win the final game with Sands of Delirium both times. And I will first pick a Sands of Delirium over a Murder. Any day. Encrust is a really bad removal spell, but I took it because I had nothing. It's a 6th to 8th pick or lower, yeah. Preferably you would want something else. If you're blue-black, for example, you probably have better options. Attended Knight had a weakness in Watercourser. I hadn't seen that interaction before, but he looked really stupid compared to Watercourser. People like him, and he did do defensive work. 4th to 6th pick. It's 3 power for 3 mana. Yeah, he's a 4th to 6th pick. He has to be. What about the Guardians of Akrasia? They can't attack, but they can attack somehow. 5th to 7th pick, higher in Black-White Exalted. Yes. LSE says this is much more what the aggressive decks want. It plays both defense and offense. And of course it does a ton of work. I would have loved to see how the Harbor Serpents did. People are very disappointed with Scroll Thief in this format, but I think this was a deck for Scroll Thief. He held the ground, he threatened card draw, and sleep would just have been so much fun with Scroll Thief. So 4th to 6th pick. And I still think he is. But you have to build around him a bit. I wasn't sure about sleep, but I've been convinced sleep does so much. And maybe it's higher actually. Won me the finals. Talrand's Invocation. It's been said that Talrand's Invocation is the best uncommon in the set. And I think it's a first to third pick. And actually, I don't see why anybody would pass it. There are a few rares you would take over it. You might take Flames of the Firebrand over it. You might take a Vampire Nighthawk over it, but that's about it on the uncommons. There is no common I would take over it. And only a handful rares I would take. Sands? No, actually I wouldn't. I don't think I take Talrons over Sands. I would take Thundermaw Hellkite, I would take Jace, and I would take the Exalted Angel over Talrons. But I'm not sure about Thundermaw Hellkite. Yeah, okay, I'm sure. That's the cards I would take over it. I would take Talon's Invocation over Neferox, for example. So it's an extremely powerful card. 4 power in the air for 4 mana. That's like Elemental, but better. Divine Verdict was my safety hatch. I never got to play it. I did have it some of the time, and I haven't rated it. They say B, you will run it C+. Yes, you will. 4 to 6 pick. Necessary. And I think that's where I rate it. Not sure. There are a lot of creatures that we can't deal with. White will take what it can get. LSV says, I've never run into deck that turned down Divine Verdict, and that's probably right. Sarah Angel is a first pick. She's a much worse first pick than Talon's Invocation, but she is a first pick. And I would pick Sands of Delirium over Sarah. In the sideboard I had Rain on Blaze. I never really played any of my sideboard cards. And I normally don't need... I can't normally put Safe Passage in the sideboard, but this deck was so strong that there was no room for Safe Passage. And that brings me to the fun section where I fill in my winning decks. And I have been winning a lot more in this format than I have been in Gatecrash. Here is a sample of my winning decks. Let's enter this one. 2013, March 11th. Swiss Draft, 3-0 blue-white Flyers. So now I need to figure out what I had in my deck. I had 9 plains, 8 islands. I had, let's color sort them. I had 2 Chronometon. And he's so good. 1 Sands of Delirium. And it's not the first time I 3-0 with a deck with Sands of Delirium in. It's really as good as I say. Try it out if you haven't. It's just a killer card. It just changes the whole game. 2 Guardians of Akrasia. Not Akrasia. 1 Attended Knight. 3 Avon Squires. 1 War Falcon. Well, War Falcon into Avon Squire is pretty good. The Divine Verdict, I don't like spells very much, I like creatures. But here is a Talrand's Invocation, which is a spell, a creature masquerading as a spell. So that I like, and I do like sleeps. I had a Windrake, 2 Scroll Thief, 1 Fog Bank, 1 Velkin. Wow, what a deck this was. Yeah, that's what I had. Significant sideboard cards, 2 Harbor Serpents. They are really hard to deal with for blue. I also had Rain of Blades, Mark of the Vampire, Kraken Hatchling that I brought in, and Touch of the Eternal. And what happened then? Well, match 1, Plug flew over him and crushed him. Match 2, Scorcho Gear. He took mulligans. I flew over him and crushed him. And in match 3, I played against THT Duck 3, who was blue-white. I did not flew over him, but milled him with sands both times. That's my kind of draft. We are now going to write about this on the MTGO Strat site where I work. I almost said, but I don't. But I run the site and write something about Magic on it. Let's go here. Here it is. And I don't steal the spotlight from the Pauper Walkthroughs episode 7, which is quite an interesting thing. So I'm going to write a draft about this deck. Have I told you everything now? I think I have. I won't prolong this. Thank you for watching Magic Gathering Strat. I'm Dan, and I'm quite happy at the result of this M13 Swiss draft. And let's check how many M13 boosters I have left. 7. There's gonna be more drafts, but just one more gate crash.